Welcome back. All right, so one thing that I've discussed previously on this channel that I wanted to do a video on was talking about teams that are really good at home, really good at on the road. Teams that are consistent. I talked about doing this maybe a power rankings. Well, I've spent the last hour plus putting this together and realized the power rankings doesn't work. Early on, right away, when I was going through all the numbers, I was like, yeah, the power rankings idea really doesn't work. So instead, what we've got here is teams that are better at home, teams that are better on the road, teams that are consistently good, consistently bad, kind of mid at home and away, teams that are kind of right there near the middle. Teams that are top 10 both in home and away points, and teams that are bottom 10 in both home and away points. And yes, there's going to be some crossover between the consistents and the teams that are top 10, bottom 10, but not entirely. So we're going to go ahead and go through this. So I'll start with home cooking. Which teams, looking at their home record and wishing it was the road record even more, like wishing they had the same record on the road. That's Tampa Bay. At home, they have a 700 points percentage, and away, their points percentage is 389. So for Tampa Bay, they are better at home than they are on the road. Clear? Cool. All right, number 2 on the list is Carolina. The Carolina Hurricanes at home, fantastic number of 750, but away from home, it is quite the different story, 444. Now, I did do the video on Carolina, right, about talking about how those road trips just killed them. I think now that those road trips are done out west, I think we'll see their numbers get better. Last night's game against Las Vegas would seem to indicate that might be true. Next on the board, Arizona. They love it at the mullet. They just do. The team plays really well there. I know there's all the discussion about, getting the new arena and where's the new arena going to go and all this stuff. But the reality is at home, they have a 688 points percentage, away from home 400. So they play very well at the mullet. Arizona Coyotes, fantastic at home. And as long as they can put up a 688 at home, they have a very good chance of making the playoffs in the West. And if they can improve their road record, all the more. Then we get to Edmonton. Yeah, Edmonton, this is a road trip now. They're going through New Jersey. They're going through New York against the Rangers as well. They're going to have to hope that their numbers get better. At home, 5.94. No. Yeah, I've got an eraser right there. Doesn't matter. I'll still use my finger. Away from home, the Oilers' numbers, not great. 308. 308 points percentage on the road. So, yeah, that needs to get better, or the Oilers are in trouble, which we already know they are. They're 2 games below 500. They're back to that number. And then we've got St. Louis. The St. Louis Blues at home, 643. And on the road, 382. Now, I do need to grab another magnet. All right, I'll squeeze this in. San Jose has the same points differential as St. Louis does. Now, at home, it's a 467, but on the road, it's 206. So, it's not a great number there for San Jose. Away from home. And I would gladly put that underneath St. Louis, but then I would not have room for all the Road Warriors ones underneath. So, that being said, we get into the Road Warriors side of things, and you've got the LA Kings. The LA Kings at home is a pretty simple number to remember here. They're 500 at home. Away from home, their points percentage, ridiculous, 900. So, yeah, the LA Kings remain a team that are much better on the road than at home. Their home numbers gotten better, but still, 500 to 900, that's quite the difference right there. Then also, Road Warriors, interestingly enough, the Montreal Canadiens. The Montreal Canadiens at home, not a great number. They have a 444 record at home, but then they go out on the road, and apparently they play spoiler pretty well on the road, 651. Although they get cheered on the road the same as they do at home, so Montreal definitely, though, better numbers on the road. If they could fix their home record, you've got yourself a team that might be able to threaten for a playoff spot there in the East. And then we got New Jersey. So, Devils fans not happy with the overall performance at home, and their performance on the road has to make that even more of the case because they're 467 and their points percentage at home, away from home 667. So that's a pretty major difference between home and away. And the theory's always been, the idea's always been, the teams that are better on the road than at home maybe trying to get kind of pretty with their play at home, looking for the perfect goal, maybe a little bit more nervous on their home ice. But New Jersey, third on that list, and then we get to Philadelphia. The Philadelphia Flyers at home, 567, and away from home, 688. So the way I've ranked this is the bigger the difference between your home and away, the higher up you are on the chart. That's why I have San Jose tied with St. Louis, even though San Jose's numbers are not as good as St. Louis's, but the difference is the same, 0.261. All right, and finally, last but not least on this part here, Anaheim. The Anaheim Ducks, better on the road than at home, although their numbers aren't great either. 333 at home, and away, their points percentage goes up to 438. So that's what a good road trip will do for them. It means that their numbers are better on the road than at home. But again, neither number's fantastic for Anaheim. But if they could bring that road game home, you're in good shape. All right, so that being said, now we're going to move into a completely different category, consistently good. So when I was putting this together, I thought, okay, so this is great. This is fine. This shows us who's good at home, who's good on the road. But let's talk about who's consistently good. And this is throughout the whole season to this point, and it becomes the New York Rangers. The difference between their home points and their road points, at home, 0.034 better. That's it. Very little difference in their points percentage between home and away. Very, very little difference. And the Rangers are they're very good at the whole hockey thing. The Winnipeg Jets also show up on this part of the board. It's a negative because they're better on the road than at home, but it's a difference of 0.054. So very little difference in Winnipeg between their home and their road, and they're consistently good as well. Third on the list, and it's a three-way tie at this point, so it doesn't really matter what order these are in, but I went with alphabetical, plus 0.0674 Boston, and it is the same number for Dallas. It is the same number for Toronto. The difference being, for these two, it's a negative 0.067, negative 0.067. There you go. Now, speaking as a fan of Boston and Dallas, I will say, recently it feels like the consistency in their game hasn't been where you want it to be. But the overall numbers still show that they've been consistently good. So if you're looking for 5 teams that may very well, maybe they're teams you look at and say, well, they're contenders. You can look at this and go, well, it shows that it doesn't really matter. Either way, the numbers are right there for you. But if we have consistently good, we have to have consistently bad. And so this is where, again, there's going to be some that show up here and here. So they'll be right next to each other. We'll go through it. But yeah, I want to talk about mid first, though. So we're going to go through the order that I put it in, almost as if I sometimes forget. So the teams that are mid at home and away, Detroit at home, they are 21st in the league and in home points percentage. On the road, they're 15th. The difference, they have a points percentage that's better by 0.023 at home. So if it's a plus, they're better at home. If it's a minus, they're better on the road. Which brings us to the other team that's just kind of mid, kind of hanging around, and that's Pittsburgh, who are 22nd at home and 18th on the road. And the difference, plus 0.036. So they're better at home than on the road, but it's not enough. Neither Detroit nor Pittsburgh are getting the results at home that they need to when you look at that points percentage, which if that keeps up, it may very well trend towards them being outside of the playoffs. They need to make sure that those totals get better. But I wanted to talk about that because I thought that was interesting too. Just teams that are right around the middle, a little below the middle, obviously in both of their home records, and teams that there's some pressure on them to make the playoffs. Now we'll get into the consistently bad. Consistently bad, Seattle leads the way. Yep. Between their home record and their road record, the difference is .003 in the positive for their home points percentage. That's it. So, yeah, plus .003 for Seattle. They're number one on this board. With consistently, whether they're at home, they're on the road, it's just not been great results. And Buffalo is next because, yeah, Buffalo is definitely next. .011 in the negative. So they're better on the road than at home, but it doesn't. Although last night at home, yeah, that was a rough game for Buffalo. But yeah, Buffalo consistently bad. Columbus also shows up on the consistently bad side of things. A plus .077. So not a huge difference in points percentage between home and away. Losing record both home and away. And again, you may see teams that are consistently bad also in the bottom 10 right down here. This is top 10, bottom 10. It's almost like somebody else set up the board. Like the entertainment guy set it up and I made him do the work for an hour while I sat and ate bonbons and then I came in and did the video. But yeah, Anaheim, that wouldn't happen. So yeah, plus .077. And then Anaheim. So Anaheim's in the consistently bad side of things, minus .105. So this is where it's interesting to me too because they're better on the road than at home. So they get the Road Warriors tag, but that's a 438 and a 333. It's consistently bad for the Anaheim Ducks. It's been a rough go, although their most recent back-to-back wins leads you to believe that they're probably better than their record, but the record stands for itself. And then Ottawa. So for Sens fans, they're like, why aren't we on the board yet? There you are. At home, their numbers are better, but their home record is not good enough. Plus .171 ahead of their road points percentage, though. So all around for the Ottawa Senators, who I believe now are 3-7 on the road, it's been an ugly year. And then I was going to make them an honorable mention, but I thought, I got room on the board, so sorry, San Jose. But yeah, I got room on the board for Chicago, who have been a plus .183, the difference between their home record and their road record. But again, for Chicago, the numbers have been bad across the board, but that's what was expected of them. So there you got consistently bad, consistently good, and kind of consistently middle of the pack, right? So now we'll get into the teams that are top 10 both. Are they at home or are they on the road? Doesn't matter. They're probably going to win. And so Boston, I'm going alphabetical order on this one because it really is just a matter of putting up the number they are. Boston's third at home, they're fourth on the road in terms of points percentage. So that's pretty good. That's a pretty good number right there. I do wish they were playing better in, I would say, the last 3 weeks. I think their play hasn't been fantastic, but their points percentage still very, very solid. So again, going alphabetically, the New York Rangers. They are top 10 in both categories. They're second on the road and second at home. So the New York Rangers, it doesn't matter where they're playing, they're quite happy to go out there and do their thing. And it shows how consistent they are. That shows up here as well. So it works out, the consistently good and top 10 in both. And then you've got Vancouver. Vancouver's the surprise. First off, they're first at home in points percentage, and they're 10th on the road. And if you look at regulation record, meaning taking out all the overtime points, Vancouver has one of the best points percentages in the National Hockey League right now. So the fact that they're 10th on the road is impressive. And I say that because this is a team that struggled on the road. This is a team that last year was terrible at home for long stretches. And right now they're the best team at home and top 10 on the road. So look out for Vancouver. And the other team that's on this, Vegas. Vegas is fourth at home, ninth on the road in terms of points percentage. So Vegas is good whether they're home, whether they're away. So are two of these four going to be your Stanley Cup finalists? Oh, Lord, no. Oh, okay. If we get Boston, Vancouver this year, I might need to be committed if that Stanley Cup final takes place. I would not be ready for that. That's not something that, no. And then you guys would witness just my devolving into complete insanity. I don't know that anybody wants that. All right, bottom 10 in both home and away points. Yeah, there might be a couple. Both home and away points, and again, going in alphabetical order. Bottom 10, Anaheim. Anaheim is 32nd at home, 22nd on the road. So from 22nd through 32nd. So it's bottom 11 for Anaheim, but I felt like, I'll put Anaheim in there. I don't think Duck fans are going to be too mad about me having them there, even though 23rd should get you on the board. But yeah, 22nd, 32nd, it's been a rough year. And then Chicago. Chicago, it's remarkable. 31st at home, 31st on the road. So for Chicago, the points percentage has been rough, both at home and on the road. Not really a surprise. Again, the consistently bad. Both teams, ones we have on that list, and we have this one as well, Columbus. So going alphabetically, Columbus, they're 27th, their home record, 28th on the road. Again, going by points percentage. So yeah, Columbus, it's been a rough year. They did get the win last night in Buffalo, and Buffalo doesn't qualify for this list. I was surprised too. I actually had to go back and do a double take. But their away record is just a little bit better. So they don't quite qualify for this board, but they're 20th on the road, and they do have one of the worst home records in the league. And then you've got Ottawa. So Ottawa, 24th and 30th. So at home, 24th, and again, they've had a very home-heavy schedule to start. That makes it more difficult, and on the road, it's not better either. 30th on the road. And finally, San Jose. San Jose, at home, they're 25th, and on the road, 32nd. So they did have a better road trip than I think expected a few weeks ago, or a couple weeks ago now, but yeah, it's still their road record's 32nd in the league in points percentage and 25th at home. So that's as close to a ranking of teams at home and on the road as I'm going to do. But yeah, I thought it was interesting to look at which teams are playing better on the road than at home, and vice versa, which ones are consistent, whether it's good, whether it's bad, and all that. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. As always, don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you've not done so already. Thank you guys so much for watching, and this is not a madness sport. It doesn't have enough magnets. All right, thanks again for all your support. I will talk to you guys soon enough.